University Church takes a trip to visit ITEC every year on MLK Day. We do it on MLK Day because the Florida Polytechnic students have the day off from classes, but the ITEC people are working. So it's a chance for us to go get a tour of ITEC. But what is ITEC? It's a ministry that develops tools and technologies to help indigenous Christians around the world be self-sufficient and share the gospel with their own communities. ITEC was founded by Steve Saint. Steve is the son of Nate Saint, one of 5 missionaries who were martyred in Ecuador in 1956. After his father was killed, Steve and his mother moved into the tribe that killed his father. His mother did this so that she could continue to share the gospel with this unreached tribe. And, over time, many of the tribe's people, including the man who killed Nate, became believers.
God began writing this story almost 70 years ago when he called my dad, Nate Saint, along with Jim Elliott, Ed McCauley, Roger Udarian, and Pete Fleming, all recently married and starting families, to take the gospel to unreached tribes in the Ecuadorian jungle.
Today, ITEC includes several different departments, including aviation, medical, media, and more. Our first stop on the tour was to the UAV, or Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Department, where the ITEC team is developing drones that can deliver materials deep into jungles and other hard-to-reach places. For example, if someone living in a distant tribe was bitten by a venomous snake, it can take a long time to get medical help, and that delay could mean the difference between life and death. But if the tribe has a radio, they could radio into a city and potentially have anti-venom flown in by drone. Right now, the ITEC folks have 2 working designs. One of them has a range of 96 round-trip miles, and the other has a range of 120 round-trip miles. And they are designed to carry 1 kilogram, which is the weight of an IV bag and necessary materials to administer the IV.
Over the designated target. Has anybody heard of Arduino?
Yes.
Okay, there we go, like computer science people here. So, that's what this uses. It's called ArduPilot. Has anybody heard of ArduPilot? Yes?
Yes, once.
Yes. So, ArduPilot can control rovers, can control boats, planes, quadcopters.
Then we moved on to getting a look at the aircraft hangar, and we saw the plane that was used in the movie, Tip of the Spear, which was made about the 5 martyrs killed in 1956. Steve Saint was actually the pilot who flew all of the flying scenes for the movie. On this particular trip, the medical team was on an international trip, but our tour guide, Zach, who is director of engineering, did his best to show us some of the medical equipment, including this dental chair that folds into a backpack. Combined with solar-powered equipment, this allows indigenous people to be trained to do dental fillings and tooth extractions, and they can even travel to other villages to serve those communities. Next, we moved on to the agricultural area, where they develop and test ways to improve local farming. They have examples of different composting methods, and they're even testing ways to grow rice with much less water than what is typically used in growing rice. ITEC also has a machining lab with CNC milling equipment and more. This allows the ITEC engineers and technicians to create materials and equipment for new designs. And for plastic materials, they have 3D printers. They can print, for example, small parts for the unmanned aerial vehicles. And they recently added this very large 3D printer, which gives them the ability to design and build more, depending on the needs of any particular project. And that was the end of our tour this year. Each year we visit ITEC. The tour is a little different, depending on who is available that day and what projects each team is working on. University Church visits ITEC every year, and it's always a great experience. But there is one more part of our trip. Another tradition we have is after leaving ITEC, we drive just a few miles up the road and have lunch at a place called Swampies, which is right on the Rainbow River, a beautiful, crystal-clear spring-fed river. And that's our trip to ITEC. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next year.